you have hijacked it. You have taken the meaning away.
A handful of women representing the African American Community Advisory Council, which works with Seattle police.
Check this out. I'm not done talking, boy.
Came out to support the police chief, and that was mostly met with boos from the crowd.
African American community.
And they were quickly cut off.
Not everybody is going to have the same opinion.
Hello, everybody. Tonight, some officers were quickly met by crowds as they walked past the barricades that were put up by protesters in the so-called Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. But there is still no timeline about when Seattle police will try to reclaim their East Precinct. KOMO's Patrick Quinn starts our team coverage tonight on Capitol Hill. And Patrick, what's the police department's next move?
Hey, Eric, we don't know SPD's next move, but based on how fast we've seen things flare up in the last couple weeks, Mayor Jenny Durkan today stressed a misstep could only make matters worse. Night 4, the East Precinct remains the property of the people. Sources within the department tell me they are actively working on a plan to reclaim their precinct, a feat that may come with contention. Considering, Assistant Chief Deanna Nolette told me she was met with bumping when she stopped by to check on the remaining officers working inside the precinct. Mayor Jenny Durkan said when and how to make their move will be critical, for they don't want a repeat of the violence we saw on Capitol Hill last week.
We've talked about SPD moving in. They did the assessment today, and there's going to be an ongoing assessment about when it would be safe and appropriate for them to move in there, including response times and the like. We don't want to introduce additional flashpoints.
What may dictate the timing of SPD's move may not be what's happening within C.H.A.Z. or at the precinct, for in 4 nights it's remained calm. Instead, it may be the calls for help outside the precinct that forced the department's hand. Chief Carmen Best, visiting the precinct in the morning, said response times are 3 times slower out of the East Precinct, from 5 minutes to 18 minutes.
We need to be able to respond to calls for service. We have no intention of doing anything violent. We respect all the protesters and the people who landed here.
And back here live, there will be shift changes tomorrow for those officers inside the precinct. I know commanding officers, they will want to help ensure they are safe coming and going, along with evidence and case reports. Now, there haven't been any reports of major violence. There has been some reports of graffiti and vandalism, but again, no major violence reported within this 6-block radius over the last 4 nights. Back to you.
Patrick, thank you. New at 11, Mayor Jenny Durkan's office has confirmed that the mayor was the one who gave the order to remove the barricades around the precinct back on Monday. Questions about who called the shots were met with vague answers today as the mayor and police chief stood side by side at a news conference. Earlier, though, Chief Best had voiced frustration about leaving the precinct in a video message to her officers.
You should know, leaving the precinct was not my decision. You fought for days to protect it. I asked you to stand on that line day in and day out, to be pelted with projectiles, to be screamed at, threatened, and in some cases hurt. Then to have a change of course nearly 2 weeks in, it seems like an insult to you and our community.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Mayor Durkan says, after event Sunday night, it was clear that the situation needed to be significantly diffused and de-escalated. After long consultations with Chief Best and SPD on how to do so in a safer manner, the mayor directed free access to Pine Street for peaceful demonstrations Monday morning. Tonight, some speakers who were voicing support for Chief Carmen Best faced pushback from the crowd on Capitol Hill. And we were there as protesters confronted a few dozen police officers on bicycles at the precinct. KOMO's Cole Miller is live with the clashing opinions about what should happen next in this strangest of situations. Cole?
Well, Eric, those speakers that came out in support of the police chief were with the African American Community Advisory Council, and simply put, they tell me that this protest has been hijacked, that the message here has been lost. I'll step out of the way here to give you a live shot of where we are down at 10th Avenue, looking to the west here at C.H.A.Z. Many people say they will not leave and that they will not let police back in.
Whose lives matter? Black lives matter!
It's that message that spurred a movement. And at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, some aren't holding back, saying that message has now been lost.
The thing is, you have hijacked it. You have taken the meaning away.
A handful of women representing the African American Community Advisory Council, which works with Seattle police,
Check this out. I'm not done talking, boy.
came came out to support the police chief, and that was mostly met with boos from the crowd.
African American community.
And they were quickly cut off.
Not everybody is going to have the same opinion.
Today, Mayor Durkin emphatically pushed back on how President Trump characterized the protest on Capitol Hill. He called it an anarchist takeover in one of his tweets.
Lawfully gathering and expressing First Amendment rights, demanding we do better as a society, and providing true equity for communities of color is not terrorism. It is patriotism.
She also says threats of a federal or military intervention are not only unwelcome, she says they are illegal. We checked the Seattle Police Department's numbers, and there have been no arrests related to the protest since the barriers came down on Capitol Hill on Monday. The majority of the arrests happened, of course, on Saturday, May 30th, when fires, rioting, and looting erupted during protests in downtown Seattle. Police made 55 arrests that day. Showers and sunshine. Hey, let's check the results of our poll question on Twitter, shall we? We're asking, should the city move now to retake its East Precinct police building? More than 16,000 people have voted. 49% now say yes, 51% are saying no. That's it for us.